Posted by you/WolfieLove1. I didn't tell my husband. My partner 31M and I 25F are having our second child and he hasn't been working due to an in-work injury, so for the last 2 going on 3 months it's been very stressful for us. My paternal aunt gave me half of what she got from selling my grandma's house, her mother. She inherited it last year due to my grandmother passing away, and she spent 6 months getting my moochers of a father and brother out of the house and fixing it up. We haven't spoken since the funeral, and last week she called to meet for lunch, and when I went, she handed me a check worth over $200K. I didn't understand, but she said my grandma thought of me as a daughter and I was the only one other than her that took care of her and my grandpa, and while they didn't have the money to give me, she sold the house and after talking to her husband decided I deserved half of it. My hormones were everywhere, and she had to help me calm down because we were in so much debt. I felt so thankful. She told me she wasn't giving anything to anyone else and would prefer for me not to tell anyone, so I didn't. I put it in my account, and once it cleared, I began slowly paying off my husband's and my debt. I paid people back that had loaned us money, cleared our credit cards, paid our car off, put $10K in our daughter's savings account, and plan to make one for our second child when it's born. I didn't tell my husband because we have separate finances and have since we got together. He doesn't even know what our debts were or how far behind we were, so I didn't think he would notice, but he watches his credit, and when he says that it went up and that I had received a letter from my community college that my debt was paid, he asked me. I told him my aunt gave me money but not how much, and he tried accessing my bank account when he couldn't get in. He took my debit card without me knowing and went to an ATM and saw the balance. He yelled at me for hiding it. I told him it doesn't matter because we were no longer in debt, and we could finish our degrees. He walked out and hasn't spoken to me in 3 days. I requested a new debit card and changed my information regarding my account because now I don't trust him not to try to buy something. I admit I should have told him, but it's not like he knows how much money I make from my job. I don't know what to do. Now on to a few comments before the edit and updates. Posted by Lee_R_Ning. You've learned to protect your finances. Your husband is a thief. And he will continue to blow through and devastate your finances. All because he's depressed. And needs video games, liquor and pot. Now please learn to love yourself. Leave. Leave now and divorce your husband. He's a grown-ass boy. Not a man. Posted by Nefariousness Neat 679. 1. Lock your credit now. Stop letting him open credit cards in your name. That's fraud and he knows it. It's abusive and will only get worse. 2. You have a once-in-a-lifetime windfall, and you use it to benefit him and your household. He gets pissed and runs off in a snit. If he had received this windfall instead of you, do you think you would ever have seen 1 red cent of it? Nope. 3. This is not, and will never be, a functional adult man. I'm sorry that you love him, because he's going to make your life hell. He does not love you the same way you love him. He does not share your ideals. He lies to you about major things, debt. He prioritizes his drugs and gaming over you, his wife and daughter. Please take a good look at this jerk and think about what your life will be in 10 years, in 20 years. You can do better. Emergency Willow responded with, yeah, he's absolutely going to start opening up new credit cards and maxing them again. He's angry he can't have access to the money, and that's how he's going to get back at her. And she will just bail him out again. Fleur is Lava responded with, if not for yourself then for your children, honestly. I'm sure there's plenty like me in the comments whose mother stayed with a serious piece of crap of a human male so that her children would have a father. Trust me, your kids will be far more unhappy if you stay than they would be if you would throw his ass to the curb. You are setting them up for having more issues mentally, socially and possibly physically. I'm sure this is not the first time you must have heard of such accounts. No father is better than a manipulative, abusive deadbeat. You say you trust him in every way other than money, but then you also say he treated you like crap and didn't help you when you had your daughter. Do you think your daughter won't notice when daddy cares more about gaming and not being sober than spending time with her? Now on to the edit. Okay, so reading the comments I need to answer some questions. 1. He doesn't like my family at all. I met him when I was a kid because he was my older brother's best friend. Things changed when we got together when I was 19 and they don't speak anymore. He avoids anything to do with my family. 2. Most of our relationship is great. We agreed to have 1 kid because I dreamed of being a mom. But during the pregnancy, he treated me like crap, and even after our daughter was born, he continuously made me feel like a bad mom for asking him for help when I was exhausted, and he just wanted to play games or drink. He only started helping and being supportive after being separated for a few months and us getting counseling. 3. He and my daughter both have my last name. 4. I wanted joint finances when we got married and he didn't. I was only in debt of $5,000 from my college at the time and he had some, but he told me he had it covered. Which I found out he did not. 5. What I meant about him not knowing how much in debt we were is that he'd open credit cards in both our names and max them out, and then when he couldn't use them anymore, he'd apply for more. I did not know this until hiring a firm to help get my credit up. They told me I could press charges or pay them off. I wanted to pay it off because he's my husband, and even if he put us in debt, I do love him. 6. We didn't want more children. He got into a fight with his sister, and she did something she shouldn't have, but he also refused to get snipped. We didn't find out I was pregnant until it was too late for another option. 7. We moved in with my mom to help us get things back on track, and he got hurt at work. Yes, I believe he is depressed, but he's also blown all the money he had saved on video games, liquor, and pot. He didn't spend a dime on any of the debt he caused or for our daughter. He makes more than I do, but with the way he spends his money, it's like we live on one income. 8. Do I trust him? Yes, I do, in almost every way I can accept for money, and he's proven that again and again. I also have been giving him small portions of the money so he can still go and do things he wants to do. It's not like I'm just hoarding it away from him. I just didn't tell him that it wasn't from my paychecks like he assumed. 9. He has the pins to my debit card. Because while I didn't tell him about the money, I do let him use it when he needs to. Now on to update 1. I'm not sure if this is how you update, but I figured I would go ahead and try. If you're watching my post, thanks for the advice, and even if some of the comments weren't that nice, I'm still thankful. Over the last 3 days, I've spoken to my mom and my in-laws. My husband reached out to her that he didn't want to be with me anymore, but it wasn't because of the money, it was because he felt forced to get married and have a baby, and even though we got pregnant with the second one because of his sister, he still blames me. 6 years together and felt like he refused to talk about it. Even when we were in counseling. I asked his mom what he wanted to do because he wasn't answering my phone calls or messages, and she said she sent him money for a plane ticket so he could go to her. I am heartbroken that she didn't tell him to try harder for his kids. After all, his dad left him and his siblings. But I can't force him to stay, and I have to think about them right now. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I spoke to a lawyer my friend used for his divorce yesterday, and he's going to help me draw up a divorce plan. He said my husband can go after the money, but he doesn't think he will. I'm filing for full custody and will be asking for a minimum in child support unless he wants to sign his rights over. I'm done being stupid and thinking he would grow up. I packed his things and hired a moving company to take them to his mom's house, so all his stuff will be gone in a few days too. My first clue he didn't want our daughter was that she was not even crying asking where he is. She's just running around with me and my mom. I did send him a little bit of money for his travels and told his mom I'll send the divorce papers as soon as I get them. She just told me okay and hung up. So that's what's been happening the last few days. Haven't spoken to my soon-to-be ex-husband, and I am now fully on my own since I was 19. I'm hoping everything goes well. Hopefully I don't have to update again. Now on to the last update. Hey guys, I thought I wouldn't update again, but I figured I could just give a final update to everything. My almost fully divorced husband signed the papers my lawyer sent him, not the divorce papers, but I guess papers to him agreeing to what I wanted, and all he asked for was $2,000 so he could get his own car. He agreed to pay child support for our daughter and our now newborn son, who was born Saturday night. No one in his family asked for pictures or even his name, so I decided to block everyone I could find because they had no right to see him or my daughter. He agreed to give me full custody and told my lawyer he didn't want visitation or anything. I did move money to my newborn savings account, and I am making sure my name is off of the credit cards I paid off for him just in case he decides to use them again. I won't be tied to it. My mom is the only person outside of my aunt and my husband who knows about the money, and as soon as I can go back to work, I plan on using some of it for a down payment to a house. My lawyer is going to help make sure my husband won't be able to have anything to do with it. If I have to wait longer, I will, but at the moment, that's my plan. My daughter is so in love with her brother, and my mom is helping me the way I wished he would have helped. The rest of my money I have put in a separate account for emergencies. I'm also reaching out to my advisors at my college, and I'm planning to start school again in August. I only had 1 year to finish, but I had my daughter and wasn't able to go back, so I'm hoping everything works out. My lawyer said it could take a few months for this to be finished, but he said since my husband isn't fighting or changing anything that we wanted, it shouldn't be over a year. Also, I forgot, the money wasn't technically an inheritance. My aunt gave it to me and wrote it off as a gift. It was her inheritance, not mine. She just felt like I deserved it for caring for my grandpa and grandma. So, in the US, if he wanted to fight for it, he legally could get half. Now on to a few comments. Posted by Kadriam. I don't believe you can just take your name off of a credit card. You have to close the account and have a new one issued. Please double check for your own safety. You know he's going to max them out again. And good on you for getting out. OP responded with the help of my lawyer, we've gotten 3 closed but the rest are in the process of either closing or if my husband agrees to get my name off. He said he'd sign what he needed to, so I'm letting my lawyer handle it right now. Posted by No Committee 96. Please do not give that worthless man the $2,000 you have given and sacrifice enough for him if he needs a car. So bad, tell him he better start working for it, or even better, why doesn't he go cry to his mommy about his problem, because he seems good at that. Still, I'm happy you're starting to think for yourself. I'm just disappointed that it took you this long to realize it, but I wish you nothing but the best in the future for you and the little ones. Congratulations. OP responded with, my lawyer said we needed to agree to it as he's not asking for more than he is legally entitled to. His mom, from what I'm understanding, is giving another $2,000 for the car. According to what he's spoken to the lawyers about. I'm not giving it to him till he signs the actual divorce papers, but it's going to be in the ending settlement. No Committee 96 responded with, well, I guess that's a bittersweet ending, but I do hope you and the kids are doing fine. OP responded with, yeah, so far, we are good. Thank you.